For us, what Jesus taught about Genesis or any matter should be of both interest and importance. What he says about anything, including Genesis, matters to all Christians, and it should be our ultimate factor in determining our own belief on these subjects. If you've ever studied much of Jesus' life, then you know that all through Jesus' earthly ministry, when he's teaching or answering questions, he is standing on the authority of the Scriptures. This would be the Old Testament. They just didn't call it Old Testament back then because they didn't have a New Testament, okay? They just called it the Scriptures. And Jesus treats the Scriptures as historical accounts, as his standard for decision making. 11 times Jesus is recorded as saying, "Have you not read?" referring to the Scriptures. 30 times he defended his teaching by saying, "It is written." Again, referring to the Scriptures, that the people of his day were very familiar with, by the way. And in his teachings, he speaks of Adam and Eve as the first married couple. He claims that Abel was the very first prophet who was martyred. Jesus refers to Noah and the flood. He references the account of Moses lifting up the serpent in the wilderness. He even spoke of the manna from heaven, the experiences of Lot and his wife, the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah, the miracles of Elijah, even Jonah and the big fish. Every single one of those references are from the Old Testament, many of them from the book of Genesis. Now, these accounts, you got to understand, these were not parables or allegories, which is like an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. Jesus took these and he retold them as real history. We can even look at Jesus' own words in John chapter number 5, verse number 45. Look at what he says here, John 5:45. He says, "There is one who accuses you, Moses, on whom you have set your hope. For if you believed Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote of me. But if you do not believe his writings, how will you believe my words?" Jesus, like all the apostles and prophets, is saying, what Moses wrote is true. And if you don't believe his truth about the beginning, how are you going to believe my truth about the end? Jesus clearly viewed the Bible's history as foundational to its theology and its morality.